Good evening and welcome to the 147th edition of the Diabetes Chai Chat. I'm talking to you from Canary Wharf. We have Hanif and the Silver Star team in Leicester, and we have our special guest in New Delhi. I will introduce her in a second, but I hope you've all got your cups of chai. I have my cup of tea here, very big cup of tea, not a chaiwala chai, but just an ordinary what's called English breakfast tea, but we all know that it's, of course, made in Bangladesh or India. This program is being live streamed, so there will be people on here who are not members of the Chai Chat, normal members of the Chai Chat. Welcome to our resident doctor, Hina Trivedi, our diabetes specialist from Leicester CCG, and our partner doctor in Bangladesh, Dr. Ishan Rahat, diabetes specialist from Dhaka. Our very special guest today, who'll be talking about cravings, emotions, and diabetes. Oh, we all have our cravings, is Nandini Gulati, who is a holistic health coach and the co-author of the Guilt-Free Vegan Cookbook. She is the founder of the Empowered Health Tribe, a self-healing community for people with chronic ailments. She uses a scientific and integrative approach to health, the body not just as a physical entity, but also energy, emotions, thoughts, and spirits. She empowers people with the right knowledge and skills to create their own healing plan and prescription to live fulfilling lives. She's the author of 2 wholesome plant-based cookbooks available on Amazon. I must order my own as soon as the program is over. Guilt-Free Vegan Cookbook and the Plant-Based Indian Cookbook. So let's go over from Canary Wharf to India's capital, New Delhi, and talk to Nandini Gulati. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and namaste to everybody as well.
Namaste.
And, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. And I'm very pleased to see all the people who are interested in learning more about holistic health who've joined us today and are spending their evening with us. So I'm just going to share my screen. I don't really have a classical kind of presentation, but more like a mind map. I guess some of you are familiar with mind maps. And I'm going to try and make it a little bit interactive. So if the chat box is open, I'm going to ask you to interact with me in the chat box. So because I can't see everybody on video now since we've got the shared screen. So can anybody tell me, actually, before I do that, who here has cravings? Anybody, or is it just me and Keith? Okay, can you put in the chat box, what do you crave? Is it sweets? Is it fried? Is it fatty? Or even if there is a favorite food that you have, please put that in the chat box. Let me see if you can tell me what you crave, because that'll help me with giving you some tips on what to do when the cravings hit you. Are you able to write in the chat box? Can somebody write so I know that it's working? No, not able to write in the chat box. I don't know if they can open up the chat box. That'll be great. Otherwise, no worries. We'll just continue. So, okay. So it's 7 points that I'm going to be covering. First, I just want to share my vision and mission so you have a little bit of an idea and a little bit, because you don't know me and I know you, but at least you should know a little bit about who's the speaker. So the problem that I see with the present medical system is that I think it's broken, to put it very, very simply. And the reason for that is because it's an industry. It's an industry. So it's really set up for profiting the pharmaceuticals. And I believe that they do a lot of unnatural interventions, which are not in the highest interest of our health, and they are not natural for the body. And when I tell you my story, you'll understand why I say that, because it's based on my personal experience. So the solution that I see is to make mainstream medical system redundant, which forces them to upgrade to integrate with holistic methods. So the exclusive system that is going on right now, which is all based on chemical interventions and medical procedures and surgeries and vaccines and tablets as being the only solution to health, that needs to be out. And if the chat box was open, I would say, who would agree? But if you do agree, please raise your hand so we can see that. So my vision is to help people to with natural self-healing for chronic ailments. This is what I want to create. And this is how I've created the community as well, to empower and equip people with the knowledge and tools that they need to become their own self-healers and get out of the trap of the medical system for managing chronic ailments. So that's my mission. So people can make their own prescription and live fulfilling lives. And I have founded the Empower Health Tribe, and I'll tell you a little bit later how you can join it. So my story. So I used to be very overweight in the past. And in fact, I had pre-diabetes. I had high blood pressure. I was put on pills for high blood pressure, which I took for a couple of years till I learned about the wholesome plant-based diet. And using that, I was able to come off medications. But what is even more drastic, actually, I have a chronic ailment, an inflammatory autoimmune disease called rheumatoid arthritis. That's what it's labeled by the medical industry. And when it was diagnosed back in 2007, I was told that I would have to be on medications for the rest of my life. There was absolutely no way out. And when I asked my doctor what would happen if I didn't take the medications, he said, well, my lifespan would be up to about 60 years or 65 if I'm lucky, and I'd have to be on a wheelchair. And I asked him for any lifestyle modification tips and things like that. And he said, absolutely nothing. Eat and drink what you like, just keep taking your medications. Have any of you got advice like that from your doctors, mainstream doctors? I mean, I was pretty unconvinced with this advice, and I didn't think that this was the whole truth of health. So I started my own journey of trying to look for answers. And I mean, well, you see me now. I'm wearing the same shirt as it's in the photo. I didn't realize that. Okay, so cravings. Let me just fold these notes. Sorry, one sec. Right. So cravings are, when do you experience them? This is something I wanted actually to find out in the chat, but you can just think about it. When do you experience cravings? Think about it for a moment. It'll probably be in social settings when there is a lot of, food that we are addicted to that is going around, or maybe the family has gone out for a meal, or maybe you've gone out somewhere and there's this hotel buffet or something like that. It's also when we are seeking comfort, when we are a little bit emotionally upset, it does tend to happen that we tend to seek out comfort through food. We even call it comfort food. Have any of you heard comfort food? At least give me a show of hands. I can see Harish and Jacqueline. Yes, I need you to give me a show of hands so I know that my voice is reaching you. And the third is old habits, old addictions, and maybe some sort of triggers. So let's just have a little look at that. So in social settings, it's usually a need for connection and a need for acceptance, because if we go, off what everybody else is eating, we feel a little bit of a disconnect. Anybody agrees? Anybody who's tried to change their diet? Thank you. And when we seek comfort, it's usually from disturbing emotions. Somebody cut us off in the grocery line, or somebody, cut us off in front of our car, or we had an argument with our spouse, or our children talk back to us, or are not doing what we would like them to do. It could be anything. And isn't it true that when we are feeling a little emotional disturbance, we reach out for that pack of chips or that box of sweets when we know that this is actually not good for us? Whether you're diabetic or not, it's still not good, yeah, in any situation, but we tend to reach out to it because it gives us a momentary comfort, a momentary high where we feel, you know, I can, some of that emotion is distracted and we feel a bit of a comfort. Old habits are learned behaviors, maybe something that we were having as a child, or maybe something that we have memories for because our mother used to make it, or grandfather or grandmother used to make it, or, you know, whenever I came home from school and it was cold and there was be this hot something, and we tend to reach out to that once again when we either miss those people or we get nostalgic and we want to get that same comfort that it used to bring us when we were little. So memories and nostalgia. Sometimes they can be just triggered with a certain smell. You know, say you're somewhere and the smell wakes up, and even though you're trying to do this plan and you're trying to be whole food plant-based, but it just triggers it and you just can't help yourself and you have to go and have it. I hope that's making sense so far. Is it? Yeah. Okay. You with me? Wonderful.
Yeah, we are.
So in fact, when you if you've noticed this, if you're trying to change your diet and you have gone on a plan and you've made up your mind that I'm going to do this no matter what for the next 30 days or something like that, you might notice that after a few days, your mind starts obsessing about the very thing that you know that you're not supposed to have. In fact, it goes into loops of imagination, trying to think about how that thing will be so good and it will taste so good in the mouth till you just can't resist anymore and you go and eat it. Is it just me? I mean, the chocolate cake used to call my name from the refrigerator. Nandini, come and eat me. Jacqueline, I'm waiting for you, come and eat me. And my mind used to be hijacked, that I would run towards self-sabotaging myself. I'm talking about when actually the picture I showed you is not even the heaviest that I've ever weighed. I used to weigh over 100 kilos, which is, I don't know how much in stone and all, but I think it's over 200 pounds. So what is it that we crave? Usually fried, salty, crispy, or sweet and gooey. Okay. Anybody here likes Indian sweets? It's okay, you can tell me. Thank you for your honesty. Now let's go to emotions. So just to keep it simple, I've just categorized it as 3 things: sad, glad, mad. So when we feel sad, it makes us feel better momentarily. When we feel glad or happy, it's a celebration. Hey, come on, I have to eat this today. It's my grandson's birthday. Or, you know, I have to eat this today because I got this bonus, or whatever it might be. Or when we are angry and mad, then we don't really want to dwell too much on our anger or go inside to feel what is causing that anger, but we just distract ourselves by ordering in something and having something which will make us feel a little bit better momentarily. Yeah. Now let's go to very interesting, something that I read in a book by Louise Hay. For those of you who may know Louise Hay. Anybody here heard about Louise Hay? She wrote a beautiful book called You Can Heal Your Life. And for diabetes, she asked this question, which I'm going to ask you to ask yourselves. When did you lose the sweetness in your life? And how can you bring back the sweetness in your life without depending on sugary food or necessarily abusing your body? This is something you can write down, and you can sit with it when you're in a moment of contemplation of how you can bring back sweetness, because Louise Hay says that diabetes is lack of sweetness in somebody's life, which is why they're reaching out for more sweets or getting addicted to them. I know all the medical, explanations that are given. I know about the fat clogging the cells and the insulin not being able to go out. I know all of that. But today I'm bringing it from the angle of emotions, because our emotions have a very profound effect on our body. Our emotions can heal us and they can also make us sick. So this is something also very, very important to talk about. And it's the emotions that cause the cravings that make us go off our diet. So now when a craving strikes you, you have four options. Two is written twice. Never mind that, ignore it. The first is you indulge and pay the price. That's your first option. And we often end up doing that. Yes or no? Is that making sense? The second option is that you find a strong why. What does that mean? Why is it that you're even here? Why is it that you're listening to this diabetes chai chat? There must be something in you that wants to heal. What is that? Why do you want to heal? Why do you wish to be healthy? Why do you wish to lose weight? Why do you wish to come off medications? Why do you want to lower your dosage of medications? Why do you want your sugar levels to come down? What will it do for you if you're able to change your life? And if you don't do it, what will happen to your health? So if you do this exercise and you write down your whys and you really go deep within yourself, because you know what? I believe that disease is an opportunity to awaken a higher consciousness within ourselves. So one of the things I wanted to actually tell you when we were here, it's not just diabetes and blood pressure that was my issue. In 2007, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which is an inflammatory autoimmune condition. And I told you what my doctors said. And since I couldn't find any answers, I started on this path. But what I realized is that it was my calling to actually come home. Finding my health was like a spiritual journey for me, because everything I tried failed. I was on the whole food plant-based diet since 2011. I have been vegan and primarily whole food plant-based. But even that didn't help me get out. It helped me with the diabetes. I was not pre-diabetic anymore. It helped me with the reversing high blood pressure. It helped me with many things, but I was not able to fully come off my medications for RA. But in 2020, I was finally able to drop all medications for RA. I still had some amount of inflammation that remained in my body. And now I'm working on getting all of that out as well and being back in prime health, which as natural methods do, takes time. So I'm being patient with myself. And meanwhile, earlier this year, I went through my own kind of dark night of the soul kind of a thing. And I was able to process a lot of emotional stuff that was holding me back. And when I did that, I was able to stick to my eating plan so much better. And in that, my broken programs, childhood hurts, some past traumas, they all came up. And now these are the programs that I teach people so that they can do a similar inner clearing for themselves, so that as an organism, we are aligned on all 5 levels of our existence: physical, energetic, emotional, mental, and spiritual. When they're in alignment, yes.
Could you wind up in about a couple of minutes?
Yes.
So we can start the questions? That'd be lovely.
Yes.
Thanks.
So what are your options when you have cravings? You can reach out for more unprocessed and vegan stuff, or you can stick to your whole food plant-based. You can try raw vegan if whole food plant-based doesn't work for you. And my favorite is fruits. It's the fastest way to heal. And yes, The diabetics will say, but fruits for diabetes, it works. So those are the options. And or you could distract yourself with a healthier alternative. Talk to a friend, go for a walk, or simply declutter. What is most important, which I've already touched on before, so I won't repeat it, is to address the root cause of the emotion. You can contemplate and watch your mind and how it plays tricks on you when you're in the grip of a craving. You could hire a health or a life coach. You could join my programs. So my programs and books, I just want to click through them. These are my 2 books. Guilt-Free Vegan Cookbook is available on Amazon. These are the upcoming video series. And I think it can be shared in the chat, the link to my WhatsApp group, which is free, where you can get updates about all my free offerings, as well as any other programs that I'm putting out. And I'm done. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nandini. Thank you, Nandini Gulati, for that marvelous presentation. From the heat of New Delhi, it must be, I think, probably 11:30 or 12 o'clock already in New Delhi.
Almost 11 p.m.
Almost 11. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing this amazing experience. I certainly intend to be going on to Amazon as soon as we've finished and ordering your book. So I shall click in the right way.